Okay. In the name of Allah, the compassionate, merciful. This is your brother Abdul Adud, aka Quest, man. One more time again with Soul Journey of Life, the Light Dome. As I say, our objective is to keep the light on for the family so that way we remain conscious and alert with the need to know things that help build us together, strengthen our ties, strengthen our unity, and so on. I want to start by saying Salam Alaikum, Shalom, Hotep, peace be with you. And let's see here. Did a bit of sound testing prior to this, so hopefully the sound is, working out right, and that the family can hear me properly. Okay, just kind of setting things up just a little bit more. Bear with me. Okay, so let's start off with as I'd like to do. I want to begin with some basic presentation, some basic announcements or what have you. So I'm going to start there. Okay. As you know, we've been doing a drive, a mission to try to help with the people in need. Let me see if I can get that screen up real quick for us. Sometimes I have to move things around a little bit. Okay. Get that screen up. And boom, there we go. So start off with, I'm going to go ahead and start off with the Cover a Brother initiative. As you see, we're still, at the entryway of support. Cover a Brother is basically an effort to raise, a significant number of funds by January in order to help the homeless. You understand? This is dealing with the people. This is, in Cleveland, Ohio. The cold season gets outrageous sometimes, and while we sit in the comfort and the warmth of our own home, sometimes we, in the hustle and bustle of everyday life, we might forget about those people who we could say are less fortunate in their circumstances, and to be able to help them in the best way we can. Sometimes that has there's favor in that. I believe there's divine favor in that, but this is an effort to raise certain funds to be able to make a purchase for sleeping bags. Let me show you what the sleeping bags look like. This is what the sleeping bags look like. As you can see, they're they're not a piece of junk. You understand? They're actually a decent quality. You understand? Because you want to give them something that that's worth something they can actually use and stay warm. You don't want to just give them anything. So that's our objective there. I mean, even if I, if I have only one sleeping bag to donate, then that's what I'll do. But so far, like I said, there's two people who participated, but we definitely would like to see more participation in that. Um, and also in other fundraising efforts. Of course, you already know about the brother, Grandmaster Jay, who's been silenced in his efforts to stand up for, justice and in effort to stand up for, the rights of the Black community to, defend themselves and be able to be safe in our communities. You understand? So there's an ongoing effort there. You see the GoFundMe right there. Just take a look and do what you can to, increase those numbers. Also, I'm going to put on the banner here a ticker. You see at the bottom of your screen, there's some other fundraising efforts. If you use a Cash App, you can donate to the Cash App OC the Great TV. He's doing a fundraising drive to help with Brother Otha Wallace, who's currently locked up. You understand? And he has been amongst those, standing up for justice and whatnot. And, as we know, the powers that be, they sometimes feel some kind of way about that. And he's become, a victim of that scenario yet again, played out amongst the Black family. Another individual you see there is Brother Spite, aka Kentay Thomas, who also has become subjected to the hand of systematic racism in the form of, him being arrested. And he was actually going to support, the efforts to help, stand up for Brother Otha Wallace at that time. And they intercepted him and, laced him with some potential charges or whatnot. In addition to that, of course, if you want to support Soul Journey of Life, you could do that with the Cash App, the Thelightdome. That's the Cash App, the Thelightdome. Or you could go directly to Soul Journey of Life and click the support the cause tab, as you see on the screen right there, and that'll allow you to select the manner in which you wish to donate, and that goes to help in all the efforts that Soul Journey of Life strives to get involved with. And again, the effort to keep the light on for the family, the conscious family. Also, if you feel some kind of way, you can, use your wallet for other reasons. And that includes checking out the shops on Soul Journey of Life. And you'll find a variety of products, including the latest product that I've been talking about for $4.50. You're going to see, let's see here. Is that what I want? You're going to see the organic lip balm, as you see right there. And we've got lots of varieties. Click the drop-down list. You'll see those varieties: charcoal and bamboo, black seed honey, all the way to lemongrass and thyme to 24K gold and saffron. Those are some of the what you'll see if you go to the shops on Soul Journey of Life. And, go ahead and make sure you're doing what you can to support a Black-owned business that's in the way of, that's, striving in the cause to provide, a conscious service, a natural service, a Black-owned service for the Black community. Okay, so there's that. Stand by. I'm going to go ahead and, give one presentation of something here. Enjoy. And let me go ahead and do this. And I think I got the sound working right this time, family. I know the other day we had some sound issues, but I think we got it.
of a mirror. Through all the years.
Once as a child, there was another little boy who asked his mother, "Mommy, why does he look like that?" And his mother replied, "There's a God in the sky, loves a variety of colors," as the child held wonder in his eyes. Imagine living in a world as a black boy or black girl, heeded only for your black presence, manifesting in the sight of this world. As the struggle goes on, in the heart of the storm, the call of black unity be the sound of the alarm. Be the sound. Won't they wake up? Still asleep. Black unity. Still asleep. Won't they wake up? Wake up. Still asleep. Black family. Wake up. Never wake up. Wake up. Still asleep. Wake up. Wake up.
Through all the years, I've seen so many tears. Black fathers deep with fear from the image of the mirror. Through all the years, told I could never win, hated for the color of my skin, as though I'm less than human. Through all the years, I've seen so many tears. Black fathers deep with fear from the image of the mirror. Through all the years, thought I could never win, hated for the color of my skin, as though I'm less than human. I contemplate the ways that change the axis of the wheel. Real heads in the street unified because they recognize the devil's out to kill. Wait, who's that peeping through my emotions? No, not surgeons, beastmen lurking, hurting, murdering. My headache, my heart breaks, pain, the numb can see in me easily. Many grieve, heart pounding heavily, heavenly. Divine will rescue me from these times of insanity. The scenery too bloody to pass on to the Tennessee. Even frenemies hunting me down like good slaves, granted clemency. Bump that, holy, holy. I reflect on how ancestors walked the earth before me, manifesting sacred signs divinely. It's past time we release our mind from the great white hope grips that keeps us blindly dancing to a song of drapery and make believe, while they catch our black bodies in tragedy, agony, sadly. I ain't feeling that. Where my family at? Where the sisters at? Where the brothers at? What you do about it? You gon' talk about it? Let's be about it. Let's rise up 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 about it.
This is what I got when I asked the God for a sign. I must be sleeping. This. Who can I share this with? Must be a dream of some sort. Who can I share this with? What is the meaning of the lotus blossom floating on the surface of the water in the deep of the night, reflecting the moonlight? But who can I share this with? Who can I share this with?
I have a dream, that's what dreams are made of. I have a dream, and that's what dreams are made of.
Westman, Abdul, my husband, my black king, hold up yourself, my black king. We need you, your children need you, I need you. Live, black man. Live, black man.
I've seen so many tears, black fathers deep with fear, from the image of the mirror. Through all the years, thought I could never win, hated for the color of my skin, as though I'm less than human. Through all the years, morning with sorrow and mourning. The way they're killing our people, alarming. Time to turn up this light, self-sacrifice. Are you mere than mice? What is the price of a lost life? What to do with the God you? Know thyself, get to know the upper room. Our destiny disguised blessings. You are not alone. This fight is a test of divine kings and heavenly queens of the Alameen. This right here is not a dream. Not a dream.
I'm back here in the scene here, back here. Hope y'all enjoyed that. That was just a little something, you know, do what we do. Let's go ahead and turn that off. Okay, there we go. So today, I'd like to start off by saying sometimes, you know, sometimes when we think of those who stand up for us, we often will jump to recognize, you know, the brothers who stand up putting boots on the ground. But we must also remember the ones who have had our backs through thick and through thin, from time and time and time again, who've had our backs when it comes to standing up for the cause. These are our black sisters. You understand? Our black queens, our black, allies, if you would. Our black husbands, our black wives, our black mothers, our black daughters. From the, we can go from, the great Harriet Tubman, Angela Davis, the respected sister Shahrazad Ali, Nina, and even the late daughter of Malcolm X, Malik Shabazz, who only recently passed away. Some of today's activists who I've even had the personal pleasure of being able to meet, such as Sister Elaine Porter, Sister Okoti, and even more locally to me, Victoria Trot, Sister Victoria, just to name a few of the mighty black women of our time. And so, with that in mind, today I would like us to meet with a growing sister movement that I believe is yet another example of strong sisters coming together to step up while other people, refuse to even speak up. You understand? Sisters of the Underground is the name of the honored sisters, our guests this evening, of which I speak. While Ahmaud Arbury is finally able to rest in peace and his family is able to have some sentiment of justice, the cause of black equality, self-determination, and liberation is yet an ongoing journey towards victory. I first became aware of the Sisters of the Underground during a few YouTube live events revolving around the earnest efforts of brothers like OC the Great TV, Sister Muhammad, one of the branch of one of the New Black Panther group, Brother Danger Remy, and others who had been hard at work trying to raise funds for Brother Ozone, aka Otha Wallace. a courageous father who unfortunately is currently behind bars, accused of very suspect crimes that many in the Black community believe adamantly he is innocent of. As always, I am one who greatly admires those who stand up and are not afraid to speak out in the face of injustice. But even more, remain active within the community, providing help and such where needed. My intention here again is to continue to bring about an awareness among the Black family of those who unify and strive for our cause. Sisters of the Underground, I believe, is to be recognized as such a people the conscious Black community should know about for sure. So, with that said, I'm going to bring forth our guests. Let me clear some of these things I've got going on here. Take that out of there. So I'm going to bring our sisters on. I'm going to start with, it looks like I'm going to do my best pronouncing the names. I'm usually good at pronouncing names. I'm going to say Lissetti, Sister Lissetti, right? I'm going to bring her on here, and we're going to share some screen here. Peace and blessings, Sister Lissetti Shakur. Are you able to hear me? You're going to need to turn your mic on. I think your mic is off. There we go. All right. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Okay. Peace and blessings, and welcome to Soul Journey of Life.
Peace and
let me get this next one is Dr. Carissa. And that I'm going to click there. Peace and blessings, Sister Dr. Carissa.
It's Carissa. Peace and blessings.
Oh, Carissa. I knew I was going to end up getting him with these names one way or another. Let's see here. The next one is Cash. I'm going to bring Cash X in, Sister Cash X. Peace and blessings. Welcome.
That is me.
All right.
Peace and
now,
blessings.
I see another name here, but it's showing that your camera hookup or whatever is it says device not recognized. So you want to this Talia Ndodo once you want to check on your camera setup because it's showing it not being connected, so it's not allowing it. Maybe she's having some trouble connecting. So again, as I said, peace and blessings, dear sisters. Asante Sana for taking on the invite to this live, and I see you brought the team in. You understand? Can we, we've gone through your names, but first of all, how is everybody doing? How's everybody doing?
We good. How you doing?
Yes, indeed. I'm doing what I do. You understand? The struggle continues on so many levels. Now, I want to say this to the family to the viewers that's watching. I definitely want us to entertain this conversation with these sisters. And I want to, at some point, allow the opportunity for, choice viewers to be able, there'll be a link, and for choice viewers to be able to click that link and come in, join the live, to be able to ask the sisters, questions that they might have. Remember, this is Soul Journey of Life, the conscious Black social media platform. So that means whatever we come at the table with, it's respectful, it's conscious, you understand? It's on point, it's on code. We speak the things that we could speak in this type of platform, and leave alone the things that aren't a part that shouldn't be for everyone and their mama to see. You understand? So now, to be honest, when I first heard the name Sisters of the Underground, I could not help but to think of the old conscious hip hop era. But I know from what I've learned to the present, there is definitely much more to be recognized in you sisters, to that should be respected and care. With all due respect and care, I would like if you could break down and tell us who the Sisters of the Underground are and what's in the name. And anyone could take that, whoever would be the person to say.
I would say, I don't know, just my opinion. Lissetti is good at research, very. So one thing she always did was go back to see what each one of us had in our own background. Was it something we were just saying, or was it something we were just doing? Did we have any real experience? I know Lasidi and I independently been doing this for a long time, but the concept itself was actually hers. When she reached out to us, we all kind of didn't really know what we wanted to do, but over the months, I really think this whole thing really fits with the ideology of how she wanted to see it grow.
Right. Okay. Anybody else with any input on that?
Yes, sir. So we'll start with the name, of course. We are a militant formation, Black empowerment militant formation. Our lead conductors are all Black women across all 50 states. We do work with the brothers. This is not an attempt to disconnect from our brothers. I just want to make sure that that is said. At the part of the underground, of course, we adopted that from our idol, Sister Harriet Tubman, which is, instrumental behind the name, of course, for Sisters of the Underground. The organization itself, I wanted to develop a program where we can create a network of people across the states that focus on missing persons, sex trafficking, and domestic violence. A full service crisis response team is, the work that we tend to focus on.
So you have, like, you're mentioning networks. So are the networks other members of Sisters of the Underground, or collaboration efforts with other, like-minded organizations?
It's both. So we are a separate formation. We kind of operate similar to the Panther organizations. We are also members, three of us are also members of Huey P. Newton Gun Club as well. So we are very pro 2A advocates in addition to the work that we do.
Okay. When did the go ahead? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. So we do actually combine our efforts with other organizations, of course, such as the Black Panther Party, the different gun clubs, Anubis. Well, they're not a gun club. So PANSOC, Fred Hampton Gun Club, any organization that wants to work with us, we are willing to put in the efforts to work with them as well.
Okay. When did the Sisters of the Underground begin?
The actual organization, we are approaching our 1 year mark, so we are brand new in formation together. But as the sister stated before, each of us separately and individually have been doing this work for many years, and we just kind of came together to combine our experience.
So give me a second here. I'm trying to restore this notification for the IG followers. So let me look there. Okay, yeah, I did that. So when we're talking about the organization as a whole, or can I call it organization, or is there some other?
Organization is fine.
Okay, I'm saying that because some people they like to identify as a like coalition or as a committee, or something of that nature. I want to ask. I'm sure you've been aware, you've been looking in on the Ahmaud Arbury situation, and been paying attention to that. Notwithstanding the outcome, right? What does the outcome of the case mean to you in terms of victory and progress, etc.? And anybody can throw something at that.
I think that there's still work to be done. Although we had a small victory, we really cannot hold our breaths or expect some sort of justification until sentencing. So until I see that due process is afforded during sentencing, I'm going to leave it there. We know that sometimes, although we get a victory as far as them being found guilty, that the actual time that they have to serve is insulting. So until I see something with that, I'm going to just leave my comment there.
Well, let me ask this. Oh, somebody else had something?
Oh, I was gonna say, I don't know why I feel this way, but even with the convictions, I'm not impressed. I wasn't. I was happy to see them found guilty, but I would be happier if they didn't have the mindset to just gun a black man down first.
Right.
Then I would feel like we're really making progress, But for right now, for that one victory, how many people get maligned in the court system,
Right.
in the legal system for justice? It's not really fair. We haven't been on equal footing yet. And even though it feels good, they're convicted, they're found guilty. If we could rewind time a little bit, or fast forward time, how do we change the narrative of every black man being seen as a danger? Why is it okay to freely gun us down like that? Until then,
Yeah,
I don't feel like any real victory.
I definitely agree with you and feel your sentiments there. Because I'm asking people. I say, well, look, we see this. I mean, and this is with all due respect to the family, because my prayers are that the family is having some type of of ease right now. That they feel that at least something that they can take with them and say, okay, let us at least as that particular family, the Ahmaud family, can just they can be at peace, and that Ahmaud can rest in peace. But I say, black family, we have to continue to stay awake. You understand? Don't let this become one of them moments that we are often in the habit of allowing us to woo us to sleep and drape us right back off to where we think, oh, well, they're our friends. They care about us now. See, everything is okay now. And that's where that could be so far from the truth. So what I'm saying here is, why is it so difficult for this, for the powers that be, for those involved, you understand, to acknowledge when a black man or a black woman is murdered? Why is this? Why would you say this is such an apparent challenge that it? I mean, literally, this is an iconic moment. The Ahmaud Arbury case is one black man that's been given some concept of justice out of the numerous black men and women and children who've been murdered, not suicide, not not breaking any laws or violating any grounds, but murdered by those who are supposed to represent the powers that be, serving and protecting society in many cases, or wannabe server and protectors. You understand? Why is it so hard for these ones to acknowledge when murder happens, when it comes to black men, women, and children?
Sister Carissa, would you like to speak on this, sis?
Sure. Well, a few things come to mind with that. That's a loaded statement. For me, well, let me preface this by saying they should have been found guilty. I would just say that without adding an adjective. They should have been found guilty. It was videotaped. We saw what happened. We saw them shoot Ahmaud Arbury in cold blood. Okay, so that's a given. But we also saw Rodney King being beaten, and
right.
There was no justice behind that as well. However, I would say that although that may lift some of the spirit for the Arbery family, It still is not retribution. It still does not bring him back. It still does not lift or ease the tone of what goes on in Brunswick, Georgia, or in Glenn County.
Right.
And the true test of what's going to happen and what really or needs to be vocalized, because that was just a small piece. No, don't let me say small piece, because him being murdered is not small at all.
Right.
But we have to go back to the beginning. We have to recognize this prosecutor who saw the same footage that we saw, who chose not to press charges against the father and the son to begin with.
Okay.
That is where the real problem lies. So back to your question about why is it so difficult for people to not recognize the life or the value of us or our Black men, or us, period. It's not difficult at all. It's a choice, and they choose not to.
Mm.
The murder of us or our people has been sport to them. It has, if you go back.
Break that down. You said it's been sport to them.
Literally, it has been a sport. If you go back in history, we were hanged, we were beaten for show.
Yeah.
Crowds would gather. We were hanged and we were beaten, and they would cheer. And there would be money split. And there would be lots cast, how much money and who would win. We were put on the auction block to see who would be the strongest, and treated as cattle. So, and then when the Constitution was written and when these laws were put into place, we weren't even considered human. We weren't even a part of this. So how can we expect these laws to protect us and the people who wrote them to advocate for us or to see us in the same light as they see themselves?
Okay. So I'm going to shift the question here just a little bit, going back to, as I mentioned, how I became acquainted with the Sisters of the Underground, and that was revolving around the Ozone Brother Otha Wallace situation. You understand? In particular, the support or the struggle to gather support for his legal defense team, right? And with that in mind, my question is, and apparently I'm not alone with the nature of this question. Are you actively involved with helping in the struggles to raise funds and or bring about awareness of our brother Ozone's circumstance? And if so, can you break that down?
So we are not collecting funds for Brother Otho. We do encourage anyone that is looking to donate directly to his power of attorney. I believe you can contact them through Instagram, which is Official Legal for Otho, I believe is the actual Instagram. As far as our involvement, I have removed myself and the organization from donations and things like that, being a spokesperson. There were several things going on behind the scenes, which led me to my decision. We do still support our brother. We still ask, of course, that the public support our brother, because he definitely needs all of us. We are still interested in donating privately to the family, but we will not discuss that donation publicly anymore, just because there has been so much backlash.
So we can basically say that in regards to any donation matters, as far as the Sisters of the Underground is concerned, that this isn't something that is something that you would want to publicly disclose.
No, we're not going to publicly speak on anything regarding our involvement with it. But I see someone in the comments asking, have we given up on Brother Otho? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We all support him.
Never will.
As I've stated previously on multiple platforms, this brother is a young brother who's around the same age as my son. And the work that he has done for his people, you know, anyone that can say that they're pro-Black or Black empowerment, if they cannot throw support behind this brother, then I question their trueness behind that actual statement.
Yes,
The
indeed.
only thing that I'm saying is that we will not disclose publicly anymore our actual connection to it, because we do not want to be any more of a distraction to the efforts of collecting funds for our brother.
I definitely can understand that. And basically what I take out of that is something that, you know, I've myself been trying to emphasize in our effort to do anything for any member of our community that's, you know, encountered some type of difficulty. We have to be mindful in what we do, what we say, in order to avoid the risk of causing counterproductive results. You understand? And I think sometimes people, they may have a lot of zealousness in them. You understand? And they I don't want to say that they're not about the cause, you know, or that they are against the cause, but I'm going to simply say that, you know, I think many amongst our ranks, those who claim they're striving and claiming to be about this, need to be mindful and need to rein in their emotions, you understand, in order to remain focused on the things that keep us on code, you understand, and the things that like I said, that protect the interest, the overall interest of the people suffering, you understand. Oftentimes, you know, like, you know, as we're talking here, there's, you know, you see the back and forth, you see the victory and the this, that, and people in their mind, they're thinking they're doing something right. They're thinking they're doing something honorable, justified, noble, and in reality, they're being counterproductive, and they're actually destroying any efforts that would encourage the much needed support that these ones are calling for, that they need. So with that said, I'm only going to say, you know, to any viewers, listeners, or whatnot, and anybody that does do these lives and does do these YouTubes and whatnot, that we have, that if you're about the cause, if you're really about the struggle, be mindful of what we present, what we say. You understand? Because as I said, you might in your own mind think that you're doing something honorable or noble by, you know, attacking one of our own, or by, you know, whatever. And there's a better way to go about disagreements. But just be mindful, because you may be, in fact, hindering the efforts that we need to be able to get these brothers, these ones, free. You understand?
Absolutely. And
So, yeah.
really quick, someone asked the question in the comments. Well, she made a statement saying that she has not been, she does not know that we've given a donation. I did not say that we have actually given a donation thus far. I did not say that. So please don't put words in my mouth or try to turn this into something. What I'm saying to you is, if we do, we're going to do it privately.
Right.
We are not going to publicly speak on that anymore.
And I'm going to say, in response to some of the commentary, I'm going to say this. When you do give, or when you do support the cause, you understand, try to recognize that it's for a bigger reason than the people you see on YouTube or the people you see on IG. It's not about any of this. You're supporting Ozone. So when you're saying that you're done with this, you're basically saying you're done with Ozone, that you're done with, you know, whoever the drives are for. So be mindful what we're saying. It's like this. It's like I say in my own household. You know, when we see other people behaving a certain way, I say that they're not our teacher. You understand? We have our way. You understand? So let's be mindful of our teachers and our way and our path, and not say, well, see what they're doing? Well, they're doing this. So what? What are you doing?
Right.
You understand? You don't tap out because the person next to you, does something differently that's offensive. You keep on going. Bottom line.
Right. I absolutely agree with that. That's one thing I really don't like. If we are for unity, right? Instead of trying to tear each other down or fault find, so to speak, let's figure out what the bigger picture could look like. That's where I am. It's okay if we don't agree on everything. It's okay to not agree. You know what I'm saying? It does not mean collectively we can't move forward. We just agree that we don't agree all the time on how we're going to do things. And
Right.
for me, not just with the old case, but for everybody case, this is so important that we do this because us as women notoriously tear each other down. So what a beautiful thing to be a Black woman with other strong Black women, and we can uphold each other professionally, morally, as sisters, etc. And we're gonna do that for our brothers too. And it's just I just want to see us do better versus attack each other all the time. I don't want to do that. That's something I will never do. As many years as I've been here right now, I just don't want to do that anymore.
It seems like Sister
Right.
Talia is having quite a bit of trouble getting in. She's been trying to get in for a while now. I'm not sure what device she's using, but I'm not sure. Let's see here. I'm just going to suggest this. If I don't know if she's able to hear our live or not, I would assume she can. But if you're using a smartphone, I think it's better to use a laptop personally. And you want to make sure that your camera, permissions are accepted, because otherwise it'll automatically block any effort. If you've already not done that, then I would suggest that you look in your settings, clear your cache settings, and then try again to get into this live, because it should prompt you with a new message asking for permissions to use your mic and cam. When you see that, make sure you click accept. That way you might not have this problem. That's the best I could do to help, not knowing what type of device you're using. It's a bit more complex on a smartphone, because you still have to go in and try to clear the cache or whatnot, but it's just a little different. Let's see here. I'm looking at the commentary here. Yeah, see, this is the thing I want to say, family. Our objective is to keep the light on. You understand? Leave the riffraff, leave the all this, that, and the other. You understand? With those that get into that. We want to break bread and build right here. We want to understand the way forward. You understand? We don't want to stagnate. We want to understand the way forward. We want to build on the way forward. You understand? So, yeah, there is drama, but Soul Journey of Life, like I said, is about keeping the light on. So, I'm going to say something that might sound a bit familiar to you, and when I say it, you'll understand why. James Baldwin is quoted as saying, quote unquote, to be Black and conscious is to be in a constant state of rage. What does that quote mean to either of you? Anybody can take the mic on that one.
I don't know. I feel like if you aren't angry about the current conditions of us, then you're complicit. You're okay with everything that's happening. You know what I mean? Only emotions move you sometimes. Just like love is an action verb, so is rage. What's going to motivate you to put some steps forward? You know what I mean? Like, sis seen all these different people in all these different states who needed help. And I don't know if it was a place of love or a place of rage or a place of hurt or a mix of all three that motivated her to get to this plateau. And now that we're here, we try to reach out to everybody we can. We do. But I think the biggest motivator is rage, and the opposite of rage is love. How much do you love something? How much do you hate something? You know what I mean? To hate something that much, you have to love it that much. So you have to figure out, how do you move forward? What do you do with that energy? How do you channel it?
Yes. Anybody else? I'm going to say this. This coincides with, what I constantly uh, uh, try to build on, and that's what many of us in the spiritual religious community or whatnot. There's a quote: to want for your brother what you want for yourself. They call it the golden rule. And there's another quote that I feel is a brother to this quote, or a sister to this quote, however you want to take it, that if a person lives their life without even a desire to stand up for the struggle, you understand, then if they were to die in that state, they die in a form of hypocrisy. You understand? And what's being said here in both of these quotes, you want to be safe. You want to be secure. You want to be treated fairly. You want to have the comforts and whatnot that, that any, sound-minded person would enjoy. Okay. But what do you do when you see those same comforts, those same justices, those same equal treatments being misused or denied your brother and sister, as you see them being attacked and oppressed without any justification? In addition to that, if I am saying that, I'm about certain virtues in life, you understand, that I'm about the good life, that I'm about doing what's right, then that only entails that what? That when you're seeing, even in general, oppression, suffering, that there should be something that stirs in a person's heart. You understand? Something. And there's another quote I'm going to give, that when you see an evil, first try to remove it with your hands. And if you're unable to do that, then remove it with your tongue. And if you're unable to do that, then at least have it in your heart that you would have it, that you would desire it to be removed. And that's the least of the three. So our top action is to stand up and act and demonstrate and to speak out and to communicate. And if we can't do any of those things, then we hold on to the resolve that we would wish something greater would happen, a greater solution would happen. Am I making any sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that is the concept behind that quote from James Baldwin. And it's so easy to get desensitized to something, or to be indifferent when you see it not happening to you, or you see it happening over and over and over again. But as you stated, a part of the struggle is recognizing that we are all intertwined. And if it's happening to one of us, or we should all be of the mindset that is, if it's happening to one of us, it's happening and could possibly happen to all of us. So as a result of that, we should all stand. We should all band together. We should all be on the front lines and doing whatever we can, however we can, to make sure. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I'll cut you off. Go ahead.
To make sure that justice is served, whatever that looks like. Now, we recognize that everybody can't protest. Well, let me say, not be on the street. We recognize that everyone may not have the right to bear arms. We recognize that everyone may not be good at speaking, or whatever the case may be. But just speaking to our sisters out there, everyone serves a purpose. There is a place for everyone in the struggle to use the skills that you have to get involved and do something. And we are not about giving up on any of our people in any place or in any facet of the struggle whatsoever. And the point is to get involved. Stay in that constant state of rage, because that is the only thing that will move you. And as you stated, to be complicit means that you are compliant.
Yes. But what's making it so hard for us to get this right? What's making it so hard for us to recognize this these truths. You understand? I mean, it's clear to come out of our mouths and say it. You know what I mean? It's when we hear it,
Ego.
it's music to our ears.
You have to
I feel
recognize.
like it's ego. It's just a bunch of ego. You know, everybody wants to lead and not follow. Before I ever could learn to lead, I had to learn to follow so I would know the right steps. And a lot of times people want to hop in and say, you know, I did this or I did that. And collectively, we all have to do something, not I. You know, we is way stronger than I. And I just think if some kind of way we can erase the ego and, you know, the ill will or the trauma that Black people just carry with them, we might be able to go a little further.
Mhm. Mhm.
See,
You know, it's you said that word, truth. It's about, it starts in your belief system. What do you believe? If you don't believe that it is a problem, then you won't react as if there is a problem.
right.
You follow the court cases, and even in hearing some of the testimony, and it's sad to even hear some of our people. Well, he looked suspect. He
Right.
should not have been there. He looked like he was doing something wrong.
And it's
That's
so
the problem in your thinking.
yeah,
Yeah.
When
yeah,
you look at our brothers and you see him dressed a certain way, you see a criminal, that is your internal belief system.
right.
What do you believe about your people? What do you believe about yourself? That is what we have to change first.
The effects of so much misprogramming, and
Absolutely.
this ties with what I was saying on another live, a previous live, that one of the things that will help us to be able to reprogram our minds is to harness the sources of media that's distributed amongst our people,
Mhm.
and also promote that those that are on code, those that are on board, those that are striving for this cause, to limit their sources of media to the, if you would, the authorized, the Black community authorized selection.
Mhm.
So that way, the type of communication that's given to us, you understand, is from ourselves, authenticated from ourselves, and helps us to restore the type of uh, information that affects our minds. This has been a long time in the making. This mentality that you're speaking about, where it's so easy for us to demonize each other, to see as de facto right any opposition, by like they're just right, as I will call it. I call it the white right syndrome. The white right syndrome is that just because of who they are, they're automatically right.
Mhm.
See him crying, see him boo-hooing, he's automatically innocent.
Mhm.
You understand? See her, all she's automatically innocent and meek or whatever. And these people that we're talking about, they may be the devil of devils, and you would never know if we had these misperceptions. You understand? These programmed misperceptions of who's right, who's wrong. I mean, to this day, you can't help but to find some type of film or footage or whatnot where the bad guy is always some darkened character. You understand? And the hero is always some brightened, lively, often pale character. You understand? And this is deeply ingrained in our minds, deeply, influencing the way we operate in society and the way we associate with one another versus the way we associate with other ethnicities, other peoples. Um, so in a time, right, when we find those who have been standing up for justice and equality, and we find them apprehended by the powers that be, or in other ways silenced or unable to operate in the way that they had been accustomed to, what do you think the people needs to be focused on in times like these that will help continue improving unity and self-awareness as a people? What and why? Mm-hmm.
I think it starts locally. And it starts with small steps. Um, Simply because we can get overwhelmed because this can seem so big and so large, and that is where you lose people. Because when things seem so big and so large, it's easy to be lost and feel as though you cannot do anything or that your voice doesn't matter. But when you just pause for a moment and just look around at what's going on in your individual community and see where you can start there and break that down into small chunks, and educate yourself and simply what's going on around you. Find out how what happened in the in the Ahmaud Arbery case or the George Floyd case. How could that, or if something like that could happen in your community, and how you could avoid that happening in your community, you know, how can you stop those things or avoid those things happening locally in your community? And then also the most important piece is how can you get involved with the youth in your community? Because, you know, our children are under attack, and that's a totally different conversation that needs to be had. Because that programming starts then, because it's the children who grow up to be these adults who are afraid to either stand up or don't know how to stand up and speak and or advocate for themselves. So when you get together locally, and when you start locally and you start small, that is, and you build, because that is what we're all about. I mean, like we just stated earlier, we're not even a year into this, and look at where we are now. But you have to start somewhere and know that what you're doing matters.
Now, here's a thing that I'm noticing, because I mean, we in our generation, some of the greatest minds, some great minds, I should say, have surfaced yet again. But it always seems to be in exclusive context. You understand? It's this organization and this organization, you know, if they're going to support, if they're going to be or participate in anything, then their identity has to be the overriding identity in the event. You understand? As opposed to, you know, real collaboration. I don't know how much you guys understand what I would say, war ethics. In war, when armies are on the battlefield, what you see is not one one group of people. You see factions that are all together, and you know that they're factions because each of them come with their own flags, their own set of flags, but they're all in a form of coalition. They're all operating in code for a common cause. You understand? Accepting certain leaderships on the way up in a sort of a hierarchy type fashion. Why am I saying this? Because in a similar way, you understand, there's something out of that we have to extract to give us cues on how to properly operate as a team, as, you know, understanding that every group has something that they're specialized in, something, you know, for example, using the military example again, you have some people who are the artillery, some people who are the ITs, some people who are, you know, they're dealing with the vehicles, repair and stuff like that. And each one has a group of people, you understand? But when it comes to get out there on the battlefield, they're all together. They're all one. They're in sync with one another. They're not in odds with one another. They're not in confrontation or confliction with one another. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Why is that so hard for us? Why is it so hard for us to get that this is the way to go? You can have your cake and eat it too. Have your emblem. Have your who your identity is as a group. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm saying this to all these, you know, the leaderships and to the bodies that follow them. You understand? When you have a situation of the nature that we're in our times, we have to be willing to, okay, fine, you want to be leader of that group, be the leader of that group, but realize that you're going to have to partake in and represent that leadership with other leaders.
Absolutely.
You understand? And find some way to sit at a table, to sit down with one another and synchronize your tactics as a whole and not as individual bodies. You know, here we are doing this over here, we are doing this over there, but we have to operate as a whole. How can we get this to happen?
Well, it's we have to remove the ego from the actual core mission of what we say we are out here to get accomplished. We have to remove the ego from, well, in addition to removing the ego, we have to remove the emotion. Too many times I have seen people get so upset about things that are being said about them, or someone, you know, misrepresented their organization. We got to remove all of that, because the condition that we're in, there's no time or place to be so emotional about those things. Let's take that emotion and put it behind the actual fight that we're out here trying to win. Until we do those two things, we're going to always have people from different organizations, and I'm sure they don't intend to, but they're doing it subliminal. They don't realize the magnitude of fighting and bickering and arguing back and forth, especially on social media. They have no idea just how detrimental that is to the actual cause. And I hate when I see it. Have I done it sometimes? I have slipped up. You know, I have said something about someone. So that what I said is not to attack anyone per se. I'm just saying we need to be a little more mindful of those things, especially on a public platform. But we're all human. So,
well, here's something that popped up in my mind as happens sometimes. What I think that many of the hearts and minds in the Black community that are about the cause, that are about the struggle, you understand, it's action words that, you know, are the sources of their motivation and inspiration. For example, when they saw groups like the Black militia called the NFAC rise up and go out there, boots on the ground, that really sparked a light in the minds of many young and older brothers and sisters, because they felt like somebody was not just talking, but they actually got up and just did something. They did something and talked later. You understand?
Definitely.
You understand?
Definitely
Here's the action. Now let's talk about it. Okay, that's what happened with, you know, groups like the NFAC led by, you know, respected Grandmaster Jay. Right? Why am I saying this? I for one believe that, you know, we need to be in that type of mindset that, look, you know, what are we sitting around for? Why don't we get up and do and become more active collectively? You understand? And then talk about the things later. So, for example, you know, there's certain things, there's certain political moves, social moves that people can do, that if they would just do it, it would have a certain effect by default. You understand? So, for example, think about what Marcus Garvey did when, I'm going to just start with the flag. You understand? He nationalized a flag, meaning Black nationalized, meaning, and to this day, that's our flag, so to speak. Absolutely. Everywhere you look, anybody that's talking about Black unification, what flag are they going to wave? You're going to see the red, the black, and the green in some form. They may put their logo or something there, but the red and the black and the green is there. That's the Black flag, officially. You understand? From us, by us flag. In addition, this is the type of mindset Marcus Garvey had. He didn't just say, "Oh, what are we going to do with it?" You know, I call it the "I want to do, we're going to do, we need to do" syndrome. We got a lot of syndromes going on. the whites right syndrome and I want to do syndrome. I'm going to do. And you go back 10 years later, they're still on the porch talking about what they're going to do. You understand? Marcus Garvey wasn't an I want to do type of person. He was, I did. And I'm still doing. And I'm going to keep on doing until further notice. And he kept on doing until actually opponents from amongst his own people hindered him and got him exiled.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't, I mean, there were external elements who were looking for something, a bone to pick, but those were, as always tends to be the case with us, as often tends to be the case with us, it'd be someone from amongst the ranks of our own that ends up chopping us down in our progress. Now, here's the thing. Like I say, you know, I believe we need to be act words first, conversation words later. We need to be in a type of scenario where we're doing actual things that are factors to everything that we say we're striving for, right? That are realistic factors, no knuckleheaded stuff, no illusionary, no fairy tale land stuff, but real stuff. And I think people are frustrated because, you know, it's easy for us to get up on these YouTube lives, have powerful conversations, electrifying conversations and whatnot, you know, but it's a whole nother matter when you see, for example, the original Black Panthers passing out food to help the hungry, setting up programs, right? And when you see Malcolm X not only just passing out the flyers, but getting into it, getting his hands into the soil for solutions, you understand? And then talking about it later. You understand? So what we did today, talk about it later. You know, you understand? I'm going to say it's a very challenging time, and I believe we definitely have our hands full. But you know, I don't believe that it's impossible. I don't believe that we're in a situation that is hopeless or one for despair. I'm gonna say it like this. I believe we have to, you know, sift for gold. In other words, when you sift for gold, you take a thing and all the particles that aren't what you want, they go through, keep it moving. In other words, the people that aren't about this, that aren't even showing any stripes, you understand? They take stage left, exit stage left. And we need to gravitate towards those who are truly, truly like-minded, birds of a feather. You understand? We need to gravitate and just completely disqualify in the circle of conversation those who are otherwise, those who have shown that they've been counterproductive, those who have shown that they've been about breaking down, those who don't even believe that there's a such thing as systematic racism. All of those exit stage left. Okay, and focus on those people who are about this. It's called ark building. It's called ark building. When the prophet aka Noah, was building the ark, he was only concerned with the people who are about this, who are about what this was about. If you don't want to get on the boat, fine. If you're not amongst the select, you're not getting on the boat. You understand? But guess what? We're building this boat and we're getting on it and we're getting up out of here. Okay, and I'm saying that on all kinds of levels, metaphorically, take it however you want. We have to start zeroing in. You understand? Pooling in like drops of water coming together to form a lake. We have to start doing that. Definitely. And you know, and parting ways with anything that's inferior to that. That's the only way I'm going to see I believe any kind of real unity is going to ever be able to happen. We're too busy trying to woo the hearts and minds of people who just don't care. And there's it's wasting time. Like I said to people, we're just wasting time, getting slowed down by these drag along elements.
Well, and then it's a distraction as well. It's, you know,
right. Talking about everything but the mission.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, and that I think that is the issue. There, first of all, needs to be a clear mission statement. I mean, we can all sit here and talk about what needs to happen or what we want to see happen or what should happen. But until there is something concrete that we all collectively spit out and say, this is our common goal, that every
Right.
organization, every leader is filtering down to every member of the council, coalition, organization, whatever you want to call it, then we are truly just blowing in the wind.
Right.
We all have our causes, and that's great. But until, like you said, speaking collectively, until we all get together, we define that one, and that will take out the emotion, because there is no feeling behind we are going to do XYZ behind Black economics. We are going to do XYZ behind building our own schools. We are going to do XYZ behind our own communities, or building or having our own justice system.
Yeah.
There's no feeling or emotion behind it. Those are actions that need to happen.
Yeah.
And
And that's why I'm saying let's just do just that. For example, each time, ones like, yourselves, Sisters of the Underground, anytime we come across like-minded, it should be automatically default, we locked in. You understand?
Yes.
And, keep me up, text me, contact, whatever has to happen to make sure that everybody's on code, on the same page, that we're in communicate. Let's do just that. You understand?
Absolutely.
So, like you said, we know what we need to do. So every time the suggestion comes up, let's flip the script and say, okay, we know we are going to do it, and it's happening now. Like that.
The other thing too, I think we need to normalize, like, our kids need something to believe in. Yeah. They don't need to just, I've been to so many 2A marches, and I see all these elderly people and these young kids like, oh, wow. It's cool to give them something to believe in that day, but we need to give them something to consistently believe in. Like, we need to normalize teaching Black kids our conscious ways from a young age. Versus, look at all of us. I can't speak for everybody, but the majority of us were adults getting into the conscious culture. We weren't born into it. You know what I'm saying? So we had to learn a lot of things along the way, the 42 laws of math, or,
it had to become relevant to you.
Yes. And so if you start young and you normalize that, for say, Black men protect, women nurture, or it could be vice versa, or without one, the other can't exist. If we normalize that thinking and take our kids out of the box of I can be this, or that, to I can be any and everything, we could really change the game for the generations behind us.
Right, absolutely. Because this isn't, it's not, this isn't anything new. Really is that this has been happening and trying to happen since, the 60s, and even, before that. And even, as far as what you were talking about earlier, and the infighting and getting off task, Brother Malcolm spoke about that in his grassroots speech. And he was talking about, unfortunately, he spoke about, some things that, the church and Martin Luther King, was doing. He voiced some opinions about that. But, he later, that was actually, I believe, his last speech that he gave as the leader or the leading spokesman for the Nation of Islam. But, in events after that, he ended up apologizing for that, because he recognized the harm that it did when you speak publicly in disregard to other people who are in the struggle with you. We all may have different paths to get there, but we still are headed towards the same road.
Yeah. And
once we realize that, and then understand that, like I was saying before, everybody plays a part. Everybody plays a part in this. And the things that I am here to put on this earth to do, that's my calling. That has absolutely nothing to do with you.
Right.
Your responsibility is to work with your inner spirit and whatever you identify with spiritually, and live according to that.
Right.
So we can make this thing happen.
Plain and simple. Principle versus feelings. What's that mean?
Yep.
Principle versus feelings.
Mhm.
So let me ask you this. As a people, what would you say is our greatest threat to this struggle? What's our greatest threat?
Right now, ourselves.
Mhm.
We got to get this
Absolutely.
together in house first. We can't worry about what the other cultures are doing. We so far behind, you know, we just so far behind from what I see other cultures do. Spanish people come together. Well, where I live in Connecticut, it's broken up. We have Little Italy, the Spanish part, the West Indian part, and then the black part.
Haiti.
Do you
And
see how?
you can see the difference.
Yeah. Do you see how quickly we were able to answer questions like that? These are ABC questions, and what I'm saying is that I know there's a pocket of knuckleheads that these questions will go over their head somehow, but there's a significant number of us that immediately know the answer to any type of what's our problem, what do we need to do, what's our solution. I mean, we're annually broken records. You understand? Repeating, we're not saying it's not anything new that's being said, and it's not necessary that something new should be said. But again, it keeps on bringing us to this brick wall of that says action on it. Like, what you gonna do about it? I'm a brick wall. What you gonna do? Right? That's what I'm saying. Oh man,
We're at a standstill. We've been doing the same thing for all these years. Did it have some success? Yes. Did it have enough? Absolutely not. So now we're in a position where we have to figure out how to get past being stuck. Right now, I think as a whole, we are in a stuck position. And I think we are there because we have not had leadership to take us to that.
yeah.
To
And
another point.
look,
They've gotten us where we are now, but now it's time for someone else to come in and say, hey, okay, we got it. We got the baton, if you will. We're going to take it to the next step. Now, I don't know if that next step is going to get us to where we want to be in our lifetime, but we are supposed to be prepared to pass that on to our children.
yeah.
I'm almost 50 years old, so I want to see my children in a further place than where we are. We are kind of in the middle of where our parents brought us from, and I think we should have been much further than where we are. But I don't know that the leadership that we have had in the last several years here is the ones that are going to be able to take us to another level.
Now, I'm going to put to the chat here a link to this live. And the reason for this is, should any viewers respectfully have any questions to ask these sisters that are our guests, just join in on the live by clicking that link right there. You see the link. But I'm going to go back to talk. You see, Marcus Garvey, I admire him for so many reasons. Because you got to think that before he acted and came out doing things, it was not much different than what we're dealing with now, with our same slumberish response to oppression. Where yesterday, or so to speak, we see a young white boy being cleared of every charge that was clear for all to see. You understand? The actions, the behaviors was clear. Everyone could, that understood what was going on, knew what the outcome should have been. You understand? But it was the exact opposite. And then the very, next point in time, you understand, another person was, charged accordingly. You understand? Charged appropriately.
But you have to ask the question, was that done to pacify us?
Okay, yeah. That's what I'm getting at. So
yes, sir.
Marcus Garvey came in a situation where he didn't have time to hear any of the naysayers. He didn't have time to hear any of the yin yang that, you know, once like James Baldwin would point out about. He didn't have time for none of that. Here's what I'm coming to do. Here's what I'm going to do, and I'm actually doing it. I mean, I have to give credit where credit's due, because, like I said, with the case of Ahmaud Arbury, it was the NFAC that was one of the key factors. Yeah, there were other factors there, but the ones you knew more about or was more noticeable ended up being like the NFAC. Then you had other groups that started to revise and revitalize themselves, you know, rebuild and things like that, original or New Black Panthers and whatnot. But I'm pointing these things out not to favor any one group, but to point out a behavior that gets a response, that's responsive. You understand? It's like responsive text or a link. You know, if I type in just anything, it won't mean anything, right? But if I type in a word that's a link and you see a line under it, that means it can do something, right? If you click the link, it goes to a website, correct? It's an active link. It does something, okay? So it's words that have value, that have use, okay? So what I'm saying here is we definitely need, if it's not an individual thing, it's not a one person can do this for all type of thing. It's a, you know, we, us, our type scenario. You understand? And the we, us, and our is still not just anybody, you know, because like I do agree with someone who say, well, everybody's not going to unite. Right. We understand that. Let's deal with those who will, and let's manifest. I mean, it's like the only waiting that's going on is amongst our own selves. You understand? Nobody's waiting for us. You understand? Those in China is worried about Taiwan. They're not waiting for us. Yeah. Russia's worried about Ukraine. They're not waiting for us. You understand? We're waiting for us. We are the reason why we haven't reached where we need to go yet. And we're also the reason why we find our own hindrances. Mm-hmm. It's like we're our solution and our problem at the same time. Absolutely. Our solution isn't it. We can cry and whine in DC. Our solution isn't there. You understand? Our solution is right where we stand. And our solution is in collaboration with all of us, wherever we may be on this globe.
Well, it's a net. We have to get into the mindset of building a network, which is what Sisters of the Underground is attempting to do. And, I said earlier, we work with any formation that comes to us or that we can go to. We have to all play. Again, the sister already said, we each have a role to play. Each organization, I believe, has a role to play. And until we figure what our role is and stick to that role and let the other one stick to their role, we're always going to be button heads, because everyone wants to, kind of, if you will, bring the spotlight to their own organization instead of bringing the spotlight to as a whole. We have to, again, be on the same page. We have to deliver the same message across the board. We can't have one organization preaching and teaching this one and this message, but then we're over here conflicting with their message. And I think that's why we're at a standstill. The last few years, that is what we have seen, each other kind of going off. I don't want to really use the term going rogue, but let's face it, that's really what we have been doing with multiple organizations.
Let me ask you this question. Okay. Is it possible for us to do what I would call, what I could say, is it imminent? Is that the word I want to use? Immediate, direct, specific actions. For example, what would it take for us to acknowledge an authority from amongst ourselves, that we can all, as a people, say this body of people or this individual or this collective, this represents the head. This over here, this represents the body. And this over here, this represents our arms. And this, you understand what I'm saying? How should we approach that? And this is in an age of technology, of advancements, where there's so many people in power and authority connected with, so much tech. You understand? So many forms of intel and things like that means that no matter what we do on the planet Earth, we have to handle with care our situation. We have to be tactful. We have to be strategic. Chess moves, not chess, as one brother put it. So what I'm asking is, because like I said, what I'm trying to do is strike the type of conversation that gets us to avoid running right back into the same, what do you call that? It's like a spiral, the same trap, where we're just spinning around aimlessly, endlessly, getting nowhere fast or soon. You understand? Trying to get us to progress up, ascend and not stagnate. Mm-hmm. There are certain things from studying history, the patterns in history, the behaviors in history, both the rises of empires and the declines of empire, that I've noticed. And like I said, all the successful ones always revolve around active words or actions that were taking place that ended up making it inevitable that they ended up rising out of their situation or rising in a position of authority. You understand? I've used examples like the Ottoman Empire, the Abbasid Empire, even the original invaders of America. They came with a kit. They didn't come just it's over here. It's nice place to park our boat. They didn't come like that. They came knowing they had a game plan. You understand? They had a game plan from day one. This is what we're going to do. We need somebody to represent us. It wasn't George Washington. I'm going to let everyone do the homework to find out who that guy was that was the first president. You just do the homework. It wasn't George Washington, though. Okay. But whoever that man was, who ironically looked like one of us, you understand? Homework, family. That's all we're going to say. We're trying to keep the light on. They had their books out, they had their pens out, they were ready to rock and roll. So when it got to the point that any would-be opponents noticed that these people were a threat, that this new nation was a threat, it was too late. Now we could toss your tea off the boat because we don't give a darn. You understand? That's the type of mindset they had. Now we could do this in your face, like it or not, because we now are a power to be reckoned with in and of ourselves. Okay? There's so many examples of people who've revitalized who they are and did it in such a way that it made their presence permanent, to the extent that permanency could be considered in this life. So I'm saying this here, that we need, I call it the Voltron. You understand? I don't know if anybody's familiar with Voltron, but I pointed out the order of operation. The head was there, but it didn't announce itself first. It only announced itself after it commanded all parts of the body to assemble. And then it said in an announcement, out now I'll form the head. The body's assembled now. Now I'll form the head. And the head was accepted by the rest of the body. It was agreed upon. I'm saying that we need to have certain things where once we speak it out, it's official. It is. One of the things, for example, that I keep on trying to drive in, who the heck are we? Because we're not, my ancestral DNA says I'm Timney. But am I Timney here? I'm Timney ancestrally. My ancestry is Timney. But what are we? Who are we now? Yeah, I know that I can hear the Hebrew brothers screaming right now. We're Hebrew brothers. We're Hebrew. but everybody's not on board with that. Some people are Americans. They were Americans before these folks came. Some of us are actually Africans. You understand? We've got so many elements of what it means to be black. So we need to do a Marcus Garvey effect here. We got the flag, but what nation does this flag represent? You understand? Who's the name of the nation for this flag? Who are we? And once that's identified, you put that, you stamp that, this is who we are, period, de facto, from this day forth. Why? Who said so? We said so. We begin to authorize ourselves. You understand? We begin to become our own seal of approval of who we are, self-identification, self-determination. We begin to, when we liberate our way of thinking, we begin to take on the effects that liberate the rest of the body. You understand? But we have to liberate our way of thinking. We keep on thinking that somehow, Master, is it okay to go outside and play?
Well, I think we began with stop looking to white people to be our saviors.
Yeah.
We're never going to progress. I mean, we have to get out of that mindset. And then we also have to stop trying to include everyone. We are too forgiving.
Yes.
We are way too forgiving. We're way too accepting. And I believe it was Dr. Carissa that I was just having a conversation with the other day. I'll make reference to, we built BET. I'll use that as an example. We built that platform up, it started out for us, but then after so many years, what did you start seeing? You started seeing them give awards to white folks, started seeing them on our TV screen with their television shows. We kind of watered ourselves down to cater to them instead of sticking to our core agenda, which was a platform of a television network for us, by us. We did that by including them. And I think that most of us that lives in this world, we try to adapt to their world instead of telling them where we stand as a people. We want to fit in. We want to be inclusive. We want to forgive and forget. I'm not in a position to forgive and forget because we are still fighting the same fight that my parents were fighting, that my grandparents were fighting. Yes. So until we get past that, we're always going to be at that standstill. We're always going to be stuck, which is why I said that it's going to take a fresh breath of air as far as leadership to get us to that next level. I thank those that has brought us thus far, but I think it's just time to get new faces out there, get new ideas, get new knowledge. Not new knowledge, I'm sorry, get new representation out there.
Yes, indeed. I definitely agree with that. Any of you sisters have anything you want to add to that?
No, I think she pretty much summed it up pretty good as far as I'm concerned. Maybe Carissa does.
Right. I agree with everything Sister Lasiti said. Before you can even decide on leadership, and because you have so many people in this fight and in this struggle and so many people who want to join, you first have to know who we all are.
Right.
Absolutely. Have conversations.
That's what I'm saying.
It starts with conversations.
Absolutely.
What I'm saying, see, I'm recognizing game and politics and things like that, nation building tools. That's what I'm saying. We need our name. See, when we're using right now we're using code words. One person says just be black. That's a code word to for us to a banner for us to recognize one another with. Be one. You understand? But we need to speak something that manifests or that expresses self-determination. That's something like the flag came from us. You understand? From amongst our ranks, we need to develop something, whether it be by vote, whether it be by whatever the case, by favor, whatever the case may be. We need to begin with identity.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Because, like one person put it, when it comes to the world scale, world stage, black is in the name of a nation. You understand? And when we're challenging a nation's human rights behavior, so to for lack of better words, it's a nation that's being challenged.
Mm-hmm.
But by whom? You understand? By whom? Whom are the challengers? Whom are the people? Whom are the accusers? You understand what I'm saying? We need to really tackle this, because I firmly believe we have a solution in there that will be a domino effect, that will cause the ball to roll in such a way that it's already rolling. Right. Those who came before us, it's already put the balls on, but it will keep the ball further, because now we're talking about ourselves by name. You understand who we are? We are these people. This is our name. Who says so? We say so. So it is so. So that's something that I really think that would push us in the right direction that we need to be going. And then there are other things that follow suit with that. It's all about self-determination, authenticating ourselves. You understand? Authenticating ourselves. But in order to do that, we need a name. I mean, there's names for trees, there's names for rocks, there's names for birds and beasts, but who are we?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, family. I'm just saying. I think that would be one of the things that would really rock us as a people.
So how do we get there, though, is the question. How do we get there?
Groups like you and all the other prevalent groups, we've grown up in a system that barks of voting. We need to take some tools that this benefits. See, what I'm saying that we've been brought up in this system. You understand? Everything hasn't been held in a shell. You understand? There's been benefits. There's been things we've learned. There's been advancements. There's been things that's taken us to other levels. We've been able to utilize certain tools as a people. I'm talking about us. I'm not talking about anything that comes from anybody else. Okay, we haven't been just sitting over here for 400 years. Like, what do we do now? We weren't doing that. Okay, we have to utilize some of the tools that we've established, that we've accepted, that we acknowledge, such as votes. I'm not talking about this voting system, because a lot of that's a bunch of mess. You understand? Right. But I'm talking about utilizing the concept to say, okay, wise minds out there, respected ones out there, put a name out there. Put a name up. Anybody, everybody, put a name up. And then you get a table of all these names, even if it's from a draw jar, whatever. And then the people acknowledge in favor of it by majority. You understand? And we move on. Because guess what? That's a loud voice from the people. It's an action. You understand? That has an effect, because we've allowed it to we've given it the approval of our voice, of our minds, of our hearts, to say, this is us today. From this day forward, we are boom. You understand? And then from there, what does that mean? All these, like you mentioned, we talked about leadership, all these other things. But like I said, that leadership position out from the head doesn't come in until the body is assembled. You understand? Guess what? The voice from that head is like I said, is speaking all the way while the body is assembling. Form, leg and feet. Form, this and that. You understand? And then I'll form the head. But all the while, the command word is in us. That voice is in each of us. You understand? That voice of what we need to do to assemble. That's why it's easy for us to answer the questions every time.
Yeah.
What is this? What's the problem in the Black community? Why aren't we doing this? What is this? What is that? We have the answers every time. I can get anybody on the show, and we're all going to say the same thing. You understand? Like a book. So what I'm saying here is now this is next level stuff. Imagine. I mean, just understand it. How do you know it's next level? Because many of us will try to talk ourselves out of it. We'll try to, well, brother, we need to do this and this and this. What are they doing? They're backpedaling. Because by them doing that, they're not doing what? Giving us a name. You understand?
Or giving us a plan.
A plan, anything. They're not, they're so what I'm saying is you throw something out there, let's tackle this. Let's start there. Let's start with identity. You understand? What are we talking about? Who are we talking about? Who are we?
Right. Well, we have to stop seeking that answer from the white man. We keep going back to them to give us the answer to who we are, because we figure, okay, they're the ones that took our identity from us. If they took it from us, do you think they're going to give it back to us? We have to go and seek it for ourselves.
That's why we got to do the Marcus Garvey Act. We got to just do it. Marcus Garvey didn't
have to do the work ourselves instead of relying on others to do it for us.
Yeah, he didn't get his idea from them. He got his idea from amongst his own ranks, from amongst his own peoples. You understand? And that's why I like the flag, because it's a relic from us. Okay,
absolutely. I'm wearing the flag right now. Well, the colors of the flag. I'm wearing them right now. It's in my t-shirt, so we know it can be done. We know it can be done. It just takes enough of us to actually do it, and that are willing to do it, willing to put the work behind finding those answers.
Peace and blessings, David. I see you on the live here. Care to join us with this conversation? You put Dr. Boyce Watkins in the chat. Break that down for us if you'd like. Come and break it down. We've got a few, got some time left before the show has to come to its bottom line. But I'd like to see what part of the conversation inspires you to put up there, Dr. Boyce Watkins. How does that connect with what we're talking about? Peace and blessings, balance. Welcome. So yeah, that's all I'm saying is we the solution again and again and again is immediate, direct, and straightforward. It's not ambiguous. You understand? It's not something that would take us too much brainstorming to really come to terms with. We need a name. We need an identity. And from that, so many other things can happen. Because then when it's like a storybook, when you know who the characters are, when you know who the main person is, the main character is, you understand? You can now talk about he, him, her, whoever, whatever the pronoun that goes with them, because you've already mentioned him. But in our case,
how do you think we get there then, brother? How do we get that idea?
That's what I'm saying. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. We use tools that we already have at our disposal. We've got brilliant minds, Sisters of the Underground. We got all these brilliant minds. So, for example, I mean, we could even, like I said, I'm one of those that are immediate, imminent, right now. Even our viewers, yourselves, you could put up there a name. You can sit there, contemplate amongst yourself a name, and then we keep on this effect until there's all these names out there, and people are talking about the black people are naming themselves. You understand? Never mind that. So what? Mind your business, right? This is us. We're talking to us about us. Where it gets to the point where the concept catches on, and we vote. We say, well, we got 500 names that people put out there. Now we got to single it down to one. So we begin to vote and vote and vote and vote until a conclusive black originating name is produced. And then from that point on, we have to hold tight to our resolve and not allow, so you guys are calling yourself this. This is what they do. They like to play mind games. They like to belittle our efforts and shame us and shrink us down and make us feel inferior. You understand? With our efforts. So you guys are this now. Never mind that. Shut up. We're not talking to you. No comment. Right? Instead, amongst us, and even we'll find people in our own ranks. Well, why are you guys this? Why don't we just call ourselves this? Because this is what the Bible says, or this is what this says, or this is what that says. Did you put your name in the basket? Did you put your whatever you believe should be our name in the basket? If you didn't, that's on you. Put it in the basket. We vote on it, and whatever comes out of that, Better believe it's got divine coverage on that.
Right.
When you got a whole community, a whole nation of people who come together, you understand, to produce an identity for themselves, you better believe there's divine a divine hand in that. Because then whatever comes out of that, whatever's produced from that, that is us. So that's what I'm saying. People in the lives, if you black, put a name up there. I dare you. I challenge you. What are you waiting for? What are you doing? What are you waiting for? What are you going to do? You know what I'm saying? What are you going to go to the store? You know, what? You got some turkey left in the fridge? I'm just saying, put a name up there, and we just take these names, put these names down. Let this be one life of many lives that people do, of putting a name out there. Who are we? Who are we? I'm just saying, just think about how. Look, we got brothers and sisters. I can't think of the community right now, but they are dealing with a lot of Pan-African efforts, making official the Swahili as our official language as a people. I agree with that. That's an action. I have no problem with that. It came from us. People from us have made a vote on this. They pushed for this. I have no problem with that. I can accept that. You understand? Because it's something that we're producing. It's an effort versus not doing anything at all, versus complaining and saying, well, we need to do, or why don't we do this first? Or, you know, it reminds me of when I was trying to learn a language. I was learning Arabic, right? And somebody, well, brother, you should do this, this, and this, and this first. Well, if I keep listening to you folks, I'm not going to learn anything. I'm going to be stuck right where I'm at. So I'm just going to learn it anyway. Like it, and I'm learning it, right? And that's how I've been about certain things. And I'm saying that that's how we have to be about this. We have to put a name that's from ourselves. That's and I'm saying I'm not talking about, it doesn't have to be ancestry. It could be new age.
Mm-hmm.
This is 2021.
Absolutely.
We don't have to keep we don't have to call ourselves the Shaka Khans or something. Nothing. You know what I'm saying? Let's be fresh, refresh, and represent our drive as this generation to move in a greater generation and rise up.
Right.
You understand? Sometimes it takes new to inspire.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
And it takes me back to my original comment, where in order for us to do that, we have to remove the ego.
Mm-hmm.
We have too many people who think that their way is the best way.
That's why
their name is okay.
That's
so, but how
vote.
do we do that? We do that by building a coalition.
Okay,
and
hold
building
on.
a network.
I'm gonna give you an example. Okay, you may not be aware of this, and I haven't mentioned this until this point. I have a social media platform that I designed called souljourneyoflife.org. It's not hard for a member or any one of us, or even myself, to produce a form that would be what do we call it? A docket or something, a ballot. That's the word I'm looking for, like a ballot. You understand? And it'll list all the names, and people, members of the site, or people who come in, blacks, and vote on the names. It gives us a starting point. If you got a name, put the name in there. Drop the name in what name you would like, and we build from there. Then, let's say after 6 months' time, we come back. You understand? And discuss what we've produced. What are the results out of this effort? And then we begin to vote. Like I said, that way it cancels out any egos, any organizations feeling like they gotta hijack something, or it's gotta have their thing, or their this or that or the other. This is coming from us as a people. And those
give that website one more time for me, brother.
I'll put it in. It's scrolling at the bottom of the screen there. souljourneyoflife.org.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It would be great that if it was at all possible to find out who we are, all of these organizations. And like you said, we have all of these great minds, and the name come out of that.
Yes.
And so everyone is equally represented in the name, and that way everybody's represented. And it's the ego.
You know what? I got another suggestion. Since we're building on the next generation,
mm-hmm.
why not this be something we invite the children to do?
Mm-hmm.
Why not our name derive from the minds of a child?
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So people would get their children to actually produce the name, and we vote on that.
Absolutely, that's a great idea.
I like that idea as
I
well.
love
I
it.
do.
I love it. And then also,
And
oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, so I was just gonna say add on to that, but we have to reach our youth. We have to
Mhm.
educate them. We have to give them some sort of foundation in
Yeah.
order for them to build upon that. Right now, you know, my children are between the ages of 18 and 26. And I've done what I've can, laid that foundation. It's up to them to carry that. But not enough of us are building that foundation
Mm.
for our babies. We're kind of leaving them out there in a free for all, if you will, because we're suffering from trauma. We have unhealed emotional wounds.
Mhm.
And when you're unhealed yourself, how can you provide a stable foundation for the next generation? So we have to deal with all of our stuff. Sorry, I
Mhm.
cursed. We have to deal with all of our stuff, remove that from us to focus and have a clear mind in order to provide that foundation for our youth.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Once we
I'm
do
going.
that, then we can go that route.
Okay. What I'm going to suggest, because all these things are definitely profound ways to go about things. Um, I'm suggesting something closer to what we say immediate action. I'm going to put a name in there
Mm-hmm.
to set off names. Okay. And I don't want to put it in a way where, well, Abdul dude started this off, nothing like that. It's just I'm doing it, right? And
Mhm.
the reason why I'm doing this is this is a name, and I'm putting it right there. You see that name, Umoja Swahili, and it means oneness or unified or unity. First, it also derives from the word moja, which means first, okay, or number one. And why is that? What would be my reasoning behind that? Because, well, and as a people, we were here first, and we're also here finally. You understand? Um, that's what I mean, and just keep that going on. Just keep that going on. What I'm saying here is to create an immediate action. You understand? Yes. In the meantime, yeah, we have to build with our children the way you're suggesting. We have to build with our family whole scale. But I'm saying that there's things that we could do right now that have an effect that can encourage and motivate the very things we're saying we need to do as a family. You understand? The very things we're saying we need to do can be motivated by doing certain things that trigger a
Well, you
response.
just did it. You just did it. So now we just need the support of what you put in there. It
Mhm.
start with that. The first step, you have already taken the first step.
Mhm. So but it has just like with anything, it has to. It's like a trumpet.
It needs support. It needs fuel.
Because we don't want it to be a tree in the wood, a falling tree in the wood that nobody hears.
Mhm.
You understand? So it just has to continue on. And I'm saying I'll put it in this way because I don't want it to just make it. I don't want it to be about me. I just want it. It's there. Whoever has the knowledge, whoever has the wisdom, do what we need to do. Let's go. I'm in a let's go mode, a let's go mentality. Let's go. Let's do it. What that right? Okay, let's do it. That right? Okay, let's do it. If it's backed by wisdom, backed by knowledge, backed by solid inspiration, let's go. I mean, we've done enough sitting around. We've done
I'm
enough,
with you. I'm
microphone
with you.
yapping. All this stuff.
Yes.
We've got. I mean, there's thousands of YouTube videos from positive brothers and sisters. You know what I mean? That can cover, the Library of Congress or wherever. If we put it all in, old VHS tapes, it would fill up the whole place. We've got lots of content. So what I'm saying here is let's take the understanding that we keep on repeating, keep on talking about, and manifest it. You understand? Manifest it. And this is, I'm just trying to demonstrate what I mean. So for me, if I have a suggestion in the hands of what names we could vote on, Umoja is one of them. And that's, as they say, let's run. Let's continue. Keep it going.
So how do you suppose that we get the support behind? By the way, I like the name, so I support that. I'm just gonna say that. But how do we get more people behind that name?
It's the word that you mentioned earlier in the conversation: network.
Absolutely.
See, this is all about. You have to understand. One of the things we learned about being in this land, this capitalistic society, is if you're going to be on the ball, you got to be on the business. You understand?
Absolutely.
You got to be in the business. So this is our business. You understand? So at this point, we need to start networking, getting people on board with the same idea, the same concept. Text. What are you guys doing? We're naming ourselves. We're in a naming ourselves season. Okay, we need a name. We got a language. Fine. Let's take on Swahili, teach that as official language of the family. Fine. It's already there. There's a system that's already existing, but we need a name. Well, we've got what type of clothes we're? Oh, never mind. We got that. We need a name. We got a flag, but we need a name. You see?
So let's do it. Let's get to work then. My sisters will tell you that's my favorite slogan. I use that every day. Let's get to work, because I'm with you. I'm tired of talking. I've talked myself out. I'm tired of listening to other people talk. Man. I'm with you. I just want to see results in how we get these results. So I'm on board 1,000% with this, and whatever I can do to push this forward, I'll give you my word that I will use my platforms and my organization to execute this. Because again, I'm tired of people talking my head off. I'm tired of watching videos, and I'm just
here's what I'm gonna do. Here's what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna do this ASAP. Because we don't have, the thing about, there's always a saying that if you wait too long, the devil gets in.
Absolutely.
Right? Wait too long, the devil gets in. We don't want that to happen. We don't want our efforts hijacked again, just like they did Juneteenth. Juneteenth was something that we were doing of our own accord, and they decided that we're going to make it official. Who asked you? Who asked you to do this for us? Who put say, hey, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. We got to own our own. You understand? We got to lock it in. So I'm going to design a form where people can put their suggested name, you understand, in like a ballot. And we'll get all these names together. It don't matter how many. It could be 500, it could be 1,000, but they're going to have to be voted on all the same. And you can put the name, and you'll even be able to put why. Like, what does it mean? Break it down. What is this? What's the importance of this name to you? And then that'll be the ballot, so that all people that are for the community, they will see all these names. And when it comes to voting, like I said, we can give it 6 months time. Then we vote, and we take our name, and we embrace our name. We become our name. We manifest the meanings of our name. And from then on, we are B1, but now B1 has a name.
And we have to stop seeking the approval of our name.
Exactly. We are approval. We've got enough scholars. We've got enough knowledgeable people. We got enough authoritative ones amongst our rank. You understand? Eventually they'll catch wind of this. Like I said, if this busts through the trending lines or whatever, that is going to come across Anthony Browder and all these intellectual ones. You understand? It's going to come across their eye, and we say, well, look,
eventually,
elders, whatever group of people we want to give. You understand? When it comes to the bottom line voting, what say you? Here's our name. The people have voted. What say? It's from us. Let's authenticate it for ourselves. Put it down in the books of history. Write it down, chalk it down, video live it, whatever you got to do. This is us now. from here on out. So, yeah, while we don't mind being that color, but the color now has a name, with all due respect. The color has a name, and just like Muhammad Ali said, I'm Muhammad Ali. You understand? When they said, well, what about what is your father's name? What was the name that they kept on trying to find a way to weasel in to get him to say something else. I'm Muhammad Ali. Well, who are we? And let's go from there. So I'm going to, like I said, I'll produce the form. I'll try to put it in a way where it's easy for anybody to just come and put the name there from amongst our people. Soul Journey of Life is a platform that's got a system put up to try to limit trolls and limit what I want to say, just elements that are not in our interest. You understand? Because it's a conscious platform, and that means there's certain protocols, certain elements have to be put in place. You understand? To keep out riffraff, to keep out the mess. And we'll just go from there. Let's do it. You understand? Let's do it. I keep at, what are we waiting for? When it comes to, there's not too much homework that has to be done when it comes to saying that we want to identify ourselves. That's not something that we gotta wait until we're over here. We gotta wait until we cross the Atlantic. We gotta wait until. Why not just
absolutely? Listen. I'm in agreement with you. You talking to me?
Family.
Let's go. Let's get it done.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then with that, we need to put out that call, like we have these organizations. We're all a part of these separate organizations. I know organizations I'm a part of. Something happens, we put out these alerts or these orders where there's a call to action, whatever the case may be. We need to put it out there where we're looking to assemble.
Yes.
We're calling out everybody so we know who you are, so we can define who we are. So
and here's the thing. This is a message to all people who feel that they've already got an identity of some sort. I'm saying this, you got the Moorish brothers, you got the Hebrew, okay? Then we've built an alliance.
Yes, and it will know to draw attention to this form. So, let's put it out there. The organization that's in your city, or if you're aware if they're not in your city, wherever they are, let them know that this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
And we're on alert right now because we're on
alert right now. We got right now we have an immediate action plan.
Absolutely.
Right here.
Absolutely.
So all would be supporters, all would be people who are about this cause, who are about standing up, who are about whatever we say we're about. We've got a plan of what do you call that? We've got a plan of operation. We've got an action plan right here, ready, hot on the plate, ready for us to consume and dig in. So I want to bring this to a roundup. It seems like a good point to sort of draw a conclusion, at least for this episode. I want to definitely entertain this again because, like I said, I do want to further this type of effort and speak of this in further lives and keep bringing it up, keep driving it in. You understand? Until hopefully it catches enough wind to fly. So keep on the lookout for lives like that. I want to try to get more people into the conversation, into the talk, but the ball is rolling. We have one name right there. We're waiting for many others from all would-be ones that have an opinion, that have something to say, that believe they have a part to play. Well, here's your chance to operate. So any last words from you two sisters? I see the other sister wasn't able to get back on.
Yeah, she had to actually go and take care of her grandbaby. So
okay, no doubt. Peace and blessings to her. Any last words from you two sisters?
The only thing that I have, well, is just a continuance of what we have already stated. We absolutely need the support to build a network of people. Although we have separate organizations, we need those organizations to come together as a whole, with willing to work with each other, willing to find their voice, willing to use their platform to not just both their organization, but willing to do so for other organizations such as Sisters of the Underground. We are small, but we are mighty.
What is
We
your
have
what is your what do I call it? Your like your, how can people, if they want to communicate more, if they want to contact you such, I want to create a banner. What do I need to put on this banner?
absolutely. So they can reach us at underground sisters, the number one, at gmail.com. They can also reach us on social media, which is how you found us. We are on Instagram. We are and our Instagram is Underground Sisters. We do have a public page on Facebook, um, and that is under Underground Sisters as well. And again, that email is Underground Sisters, the number one, at gmail.com.
Is that correct right here? Let me boom. I want to make sure that's correct.
Went by. Yes, that is correct.
Okay, cool. All right, and I definitely would,
And then the Facebook is the same as the Instagram.
Okay, got that. You're definitely welcome, for us to be able to have further conversations in the near future, because there's a lot that could be built on. There's a lot that collaboration efforts that I can see. You understand?
Absolutely.
Right now we're gardeners. We're out there, putting some seeds in the dirt. We got our work cut out. How about you,
well,
sister?
I do want to thank you for bringing us on, letting us have a voice. And it starts with things like that. Just people that have a solid foundation to allow others on to speak about, what it is that they're trying to build. So thank you, brother.
I believe that the biggest things that happen in our life in any generation, it starts from the ground up.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Most of your greatest anyone's, they were local. They weren't any, rich, pocket, person. They were just regular folk. You understand? And out of that is produced, great things.
Great things, absolutely.
Any closing words, sister?
Well, I too want to thank you for inviting us on here and definitely getting the word out about our organization individually and also what we are trying to do collectively, as well as your efforts to starting, to initiate some movement in what we're trying to do collectively as well. Also still want to draw attention to what we are trying to do with our organization, as far as working in our community to find and help missing persons and victims of sex trafficking and domestic violence and missing persons, and to definitely reach out to us and contact us and to get involved. And also remember, which is something that we've always been, we've reiterated, is that there's a place for everyone in the struggle. So don't ever think that there is not something that you cannot do. If you have any questions, ask.
Absolutely. And then before you cut us off, brother, I do want to say that we definitely need all hands on deck. We need platforms and voices behind a young sister named Crystal Kaiser. She has been faced with felony charges for killing her. I call him a predator. He, put her into sex trafficking, raped her, and now she's facing felony charges because she actually killed him. And so we want to lend our platform and our support at getting more attention behind this young sister. If you are willing to be a voice and to join us in fighting for this young lady, please email us at undergroundsisters1@gmail.com. That is our national fight at the moment. Sister Crystal Kaiser, please Google it, research it.
Let me ask you, sister, because I'm definitely aware of that that ongoing case, and I would definitely like to assist in shedding more light on that factor, because that's something to me. I mean, it shouldn't. It's the solution is clear.
Yes.
You understand? I mean, if ever there was something that's clear, that scenario is a no-brainer. You understand? And I think we need to have, we definitely need to bring you guys back to talk about that. And just like we've been able to do things for like Ozone and others or whatnot, we need to get that sister out.
Absolutely.
On discussion.
Let's do it.
Stay tuned. I'll message you like I've done before, so we can break bread on that and really put that on blast. You understand?
Let's do it.
They really trying to hide and duck and dodge on that one.
They really are. The fact that she was even arrested is mind-boggling.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
Thank you.
So,
Let's do
yes,
it.
indeed. Like I said again, I appreciate you two, all of you that came on to the live. We'll talk again. Peace and blessings. Stay strong. Keep your head up. The light's on. We'll keep the light on for you. Stay strong.
Sir. Peace and power.
Okay, family. That is our show for today. I put right there on the tab there. You see, stay tuned for more details on the What's Our Name movement that just literally, arose today in our live, in our conversation. Basically, I will try to develop more details to give a better understanding of how we can go about creating a ballot consisting of names and the context of the names for which we can literally vote in amongst ourselves our identity as a people. You understand? So if you're on board, get the word out there, share, like, subscribe, communicate, get more people to participate. You understand? So that way we can manifest something. And like I said, I am aware that many of us have things that we've called ourselves, that groups of us have called ourselves. These are groups. This is, and it's nothing, nobody's saying abandon whatever however you identify yourself. But we're saying as a whole, those people who may not ascribe to being Hebrew, who may not ascribe to being a Moor, who may not ascribe to being whatever names we're talking about, whatever names we call ourselves, but we want an umbrella name, a name that's generalized for us as a people, that stands to represent as a name, so that this color word that we use to describe ourselves, black, now has an identity. You understand? So then when we start talking to folks, it's a people that's talking to them and not just a color. It's a people. You understand? And this is why I have a lot of respect to others who've been. This isn't a new effort. This isn't a new effort. I've definitely got a shout out like GMJ. They have the UPKN. All these efforts, we need to put them on the table. We need to make this real. We need to make this, globally aware amongst our people. Get the word out there, family. We got work to do. And so stay tuned. I definitely want to have the Sisters of the Underground back on to talk about Sister Crystal, because that's definitely, a matter that needs to be loud. You understand? That needs to be loud. We've got our work cut out. We've got our work cut out. We got a lot to do, family. There's no reason. There's no reason why we. What do I do? There's some way you could fit into this mechanism, and help push things forward. Well, family, let me Do this real quick here. It was definitely a pleasure to have Sisters of the Underground with us today. I'm just gonna, so you have that there. You have that there. Make sure, like I said, you like and subscribe. I believe I got all the, the banner details out there that we need. This is your brother Abdul Wadud, aka Quest Man. Excuse me. And by the way, stay tuned. I've been working on some very very interesting projects on the music tip. You understand? Because I'm still Quest Man, so that means I still, got to, keep my music, my what do we call it? My music ethics up. You understand? Got to keep it up. As one brother put it, who passed away, I have a great respect for. Salute to Omega, Jamie, aka Omega. Omega passed away due to cancer. And I want to definitely keep the memory out. He was one of those that often admonished me, never stop writing. Never stop writing. I'm talking about on the hip hop. He said, never stop writing. So I've tried to keep that legacy up. He was one of the members of one of the groups that I was associated with back in the days growing up as a teen when we were doing the hip hop thing on that level, a conscious hip hop level. So, family, I'm going to wrap this up. Just stay tuned, stay unified, stay loving one another. And as I always say, those with you, those who you say you love, those who you say you are there for, make sure they know it. Make sure they are aware of it. Let them know that you love them. Let them know that you got their back. This is your brother, Abdul Wadud, aka Quest Man. Say the Thelightdome is trying to, keep this light on for us. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to keep the light on. Salam alaikum. Shalom. Hotep. Peace be with you. Have a blessed rest of your evening or night, I should say. Have a blessed rest of your night. And let's see here. Take care.
Thelightdome.